Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a home tour of my new place here in Michoacan, Mexico. It's taken a long road to get here, but it's feeling more and more like home, even though it's still a work in progress. And I thought it was time to show you around. When I first saw this property, I could feel something here. Peace, possibility, maybe even a little magic. Of course, it didn't come move-in ready. It's taken plenty of work, some surprises, and a lot of patience. But little by little, it's beginning to reflect the life I had imagined when I moved to Mexico. We'll start outside and I'll show you the land, the gardens, and the areas I'm still dreaming into shape. Then we'll go inside the main house and I'll give you a peek at what life looks like here day to day. I've had so many people ask what it's really like to make a home here, what kind of spaces you can find, and what daily life feels like in rural Mexico. So come along and I'll show you what I've been working on. So the property here is about 1.7 acres, just the right size for me and the dogs. It's on a quiet country road about 10 minutes from town, which I love. I get the best of both worlds, close enough to run errands, meet a friend for coffee, or go to my Spanish lessons, but still surrounded by nature and these beautiful country views. There are actually 3 entrances to the property. The one I use the most is right by the house, but the main gate, this one, is the cutest. The driveway curves in a circle around this old jacaranda tree, and you can imagine how lovely it is when it's in its purple blooms. Originally, this whole drive was covered in red gravel, but as you can see, the grass and weeds have reclaimed it. I'm not sure I want to fight that battle. It doesn't really get any use, and honestly, there's something I like about the way nature takes things back. The outside of this property was a huge selling point for me. The space, the quiet, and the beauty. Even though the first 3 times I came to see it, it was absolutely pouring rain, I could still picture how peaceful and lovely it would be once the sun came out. There aren't a lot of trees, but the ones that are here are really precious to me. I love the way they move in the breeze, and I already know how beautiful it gets here in the fall when the light softens and the hills start to turn to gold, and these amazing grasses bloom into these feathery plumes. I feel like it's a wonderland, and I love to explore section by section. There are 3 lime trees, along with, I think, an Asian pear and a pomegranate. I look forward to trying to grow vegetables here in the greenhouse. It was covered by netting, but the wood rotted and the netting was tattered, so we took it down, and now there's just this one big raised bed. I hope to expand on it in the future. You know, I always thought I'd want chickens and goats if I had the space, but I'm taking it slow making these decisions. I have to make sure I have the money for things like fencing and shelter, vet care, and food for the animals. When I think of having little goats here, I love that idea. But honestly, will I look at them like pets? They are barnyard animals, and I'm afraid I'll feel bad for them living out there in a barn when it's stormy or cold. So I have to really make sure I know what I'm doing before taking on the responsibility of more animals. I'm kind of a slow decision maker, despite having gotten into my car and driven to start a new life in Mexico. I've gone back and forth on whether I should plant some trees and let some of this area go wild, or put up fences for animals in a chicken coop. I want to make sure I'm sure before taking any big steps. It's wonderful to think of all these possibilities. That's one of the things about this new chapter. One of the lessons, it's about letting things unfold in their own time. The Casita is a small 1-bedroom, 1-bath that sits on a little hill. It's nice for the views and just far enough away from the main house to feel like you have a little space and privacy. In front of the casita is a rather complicated garden, partially fenced by this stone wall. In the future, when I rent out the casita, I can imagine having a neighbor and letting them have their own space inside and out, so whoever it is can have their own animals and their own garden. But first, it's going to be some work to get this section more under control. It's up on a hill and there are more rocks in this area with various plants, bushes, and flowers, all under these giant weeds. It's going to be so beautiful after some work. We decided to make this corner our brush pile. And all the way back here, the far corner of the property, this tree has been burnt, which means that fire probably went all the way down the line and came over here. Tamo cleaned out the compost bin, at least that's what we think it was. So I can put up some screen around it so the dogs don't get in it and make it a compost pile again. Everything's a mystery. Tamo found all these rocks on the ground, so we're gonna save them for a planter or something. The fountain area is really lovely, and I like to come out here at night to watch the moonrise through the trees. Next to the fountain area is the bamboo grove. Highly invasive, it wants to pop up everywhere. Every day I come out and I tell the bamboo, you cannot grow here. And every night as it grows anew, it seems to whisper, watch me. I actually love coming out and doing the bamboo hunt. I find it very relaxing and fun to look for the new shoots, but eventually I'm going to have to cut down this grove, hopefully without poisoning the trees and bushes around. The dogs love all this space as much as I do, and I think I've never seen them so happy. They are always running, chasing each other, hunting for lizards, and sniffing around. There's lots of space, and I look forward to the time when I'm cutting less and growing more. Whether it's a vegetable or flower garden, an orchard, or shade garden, I'm looking forward to the future and growing all kinds of things. I don't know how many square feet the main house is, but it's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, and this main room is why it feels so big. Let's start with the kitchen. I love how big it is. The skylights add a lot of light during the day. There's no upper cabinets, and it makes it feel really open along with the big windows. I did place a couple of shelves for the glasses. There are big copper sinks, really deep. I love the traditional corner over the stove and all the Mexican tile. I'm not sure I love the open cabinets showing all my pots and pans, and these lights, while functional, are not what I would have chosen, but maybe eventually I'll find a replacement. I really like that you can sit at this bar and talk to the cook and see outside with the big windows. These bar stools were left here by the sellers like so many other things. I have the giant refrigerator out for repair, and it goes here. This smaller one will go back to the casita eventually. This big room in general is really nice. I love all the windows. And though this house is not big, this room is, and it gives the whole house a feeling of spaciousness. More than enough room for a dining area, and then over here is the living room. I ended up ordering these curtains from Amazon, Mexico. I did go to 2 curtain fabricators in town, but neither had the material that I wanted, and the price was almost the same, so I turned to Amazon. The main thing was that I didn't want the curtains to be transparent at night with the lights on inside, and these do a good job. Here's the iron door that Geraldo made for me that I love. And over here is this rock facade over the arch and on the fireplace. It gives the place a really earthy feel. Some of these pieces were left by the sellers, like this copper table and this wood burl table, which is good because I had not a single stick of furniture before I moved in. In the daytime, I love all the curtains open, so I have to find some tiebacks for these long, tall windows. The winter is coming and I'm concerned that we will freeze in here. I haven't been able to assess how much heat the fireplace puts out yet. That's a long story. And with high ceilings and an open floor plan, I'm thinking it might get hard to heat this place and chilly on these tile floors. So I'm checking out what options I might have for heat. I think an electric blanket would be great. Here is the main bedroom. As you can see, the fireplace goes both ways, and it also has the rock surround. This big window adds a lot of light, and there's a big closet here too. I didn't feel like I had a lot of time to think about it before we moved in, so I just had everything painted in off-white. It's not very imaginative, I know. This tile floor throughout the house seems very durable, but the color kind of dictates what colors I might paint in the future. This is the main bathroom. Does the glass block give you a flashback to the 1980s? I've always liked glass block because it feels solid and sturdy, but also lets in a lot of light. I like this green tile and it has a big shower. This is the half bath. It's cute and I like the yellow. It doesn't get really much use. Across from that is the second bedroom. It's actually my office and sort of a catch-all room right now. It had an even longer desk in here, but we removed them getting ready to make this bedroom for my son when he comes to visit. The desk and the shelves were already here, along with a shower chair. I want to repaint it and make it a guest bedroom / office. The second bedroom lacks a closet, so I'm happy to have this curved cabinet for storage, along with a big closet here I use for a pantry. There's also a room up there for storage, and it's pretty big. It's just a matter of accessing it. There are 1,000 projects that I'd like to do, like refinishing all this solid wood, which is damaged, and especially remaking the screen porch. The plan is to take down all the screens, repaint the wood, and rescreen it. It will be really nice. The afternoon sun comes in here, and it could be a really pretty space. But before any of that, the Casita has to be a priority. Getting the roof fixed is number one, and I have 2 people working on estimates for me, so I hope to have it done within the next month or so. Another thing top of the list is to buy a riding mower for this expansive lawn. It's proving to be hard to find a used one, and I don't want to spend as much money as it would take for a new one. If you are somewhere in central Mexico with a riding mower for sale, please let me know. When I first came to Mexico, I didn't know where the road would lead. I just knew I needed a different kind of life. Slower, more peaceful, more connected to the natural world. And somehow, step by step, it led me here, to these hills, this light, and this quiet rhythm that is like nature herself pulling me back to who I am. Every day I wake up and look at this land and I feel deeply grateful, not just for the beauty around me, but for the kindness and generosity of the Mexican people who have welcomed me so openly. Their warmth has made this transition feel less like starting over and more like coming home. There's still plenty of work ahead, but that's part of the magic, creating a life piece by piece with love and attention. I'm so thankful to be here and thankful to share it all with you.